Hey, you watching? Are you buying the dip? I am. I actually bought the dip this morning. Bought a lot of dips. I'm going to share the top 3 dips I bought today. I will be joined by my co-host Rob in a little bit. There's a lot to talk about. Markets are down. People are down. Hopefully you're not down. Maybe you're down to buy some more crypto, but not down in your emotions, because that would be the dumb thing to do. We're going to look at some charts. We're going to talk about Solana. We're going to talk about Ethereum. We're going to give an update on our trades. We're going to see if we can put in some new trades. And again, my 3 gems. And a lot of people are asking. Chainlink and Pyth had the same news. Why did one double and one was up only 5%? I'll talk about that. We have a lot to talk about today to wrap up the weekend. Gina, roll the outro. Or the intro to the outro. The outro of the intro. The second intro. The intro of intros. Welcome back. I'm David. Hope you guys had a fun day. Hopefully no one's scared. You guys scared? Don't be scared. I'm curious. If this is your first cycle, put a 1 in the chat. I want to know how many newbies we have in here. If this is your second cycle, put a 2 in the chat. I'm trying to do a little experiment here. Also, I do have a poll up. Will Bitcoin hold above $100,000 out of 51 votes so far? 71% of you said yes. Yes, you will. Who's that? Taylor Washburn. Taylor, we've been talking about this for 30 days. Why did you not migrate your tokens? All right, I'm going to drop a link to a Discord. You're going to go in there and you're going to open a support ticket, okay? That is how you're going to get your tokens migrated, because you can't do it on, you can't migrate it on CraterBit anymore. You have to do it through Discord, okay? So here we go. I'm dropping a link in there. This is the Score Discord. Go in that Discord and then open up a ticket and let them know that although you were watching Sin City Crypto every day for 30 days, you didn't migrate your tokens for some reason. And now they'll be able to help you out. So, yeah, I had someone reach out and say, a rug pulled. I'm like, guys, just pay attention. So I tell people, join our Discord. I put updates in there. Tell people, watch the show. You'll get all the updates you want and you need. So, all right. Yeah, so for anyone who missed, there's another person who DM'd me. Anyone that missed the migration from D King to Sire, I'm going to pin that Discord link to the top. Click that Discord link, go in there, and then open up a support ticket. All right, let's start with the market. Red -4. KuCoin is up 1.5%. Pyth is up 15.1%. It's on the daily, by the way. And I feel like I looked at this last time. Mean Core, yeah, I did look at it last time. Why am I keep getting text messages? Who's blowing up my phone here? Oh, it was my wife. Okay. Red across the board, obviously, hype is down. SPX, Hedera, Mantle, all of your favorite altcoins are down. ETH only down 3.4% on the hour. See if we're seeing any, nope, not really. So hoping to see a little bit of a reversal potentially. Bitcoin, 108.4. We did have a limit long order put in at 108.3, I believe, which is our purple line down here. That was a terrible drawing. This purple line right there. And it looks like as of now this, of course, can change very rapidly. But now it looks like that's a great level of support. And this is something I've had mapped out on my chart for a while. And so we did put a limit order in that filled. I do have my stop loss. Where's my stop loss? Stop loss, I think I put it at 106. I forgot. Let me check my Discord here. Let's check Discord. By the way, guys, if you're not on Discord, go join Discord. It's free. You don't pay anything. 105.2. 105.2 is our... So below this next level of support that I'd kind of identified, right? That's where we got that big bounce coming into that bull flag and then that massive rally from 108 all the way up to the all-time high. Right below that, 105.2. And so that's right where that wick was. So if we get a wick down there again, I'll get stopped out. Fine. We'll move on to the next trade. I do think that we're going to see a reversal. Now on the way up, I'm targeting 112 was my first TP level, okay, which is this orange line here. Bitcoin consolidated here, chopped sideways, broke above, and then fell right through. I'm looking at TP1 is there, probably exit around probably 50% of my position. And the rest, 115, 113.8, 114 is where I'm exiting the rest of my position. Should be a really nice trade setup. And so if you are looking to trade, we use Weeks. Weeks is great. Deep liquidity, no KYC, no VPN if you're in the United States. And for Bitcoin, I think you can trade up to 400x leverage. I've never done 400x leverage. I would not recommend anyone doing 400x leverage. But if you're a absolute complete degenerate, then you have that option as well. So big thanks to Weeks for being our channel partner when it comes to futures trading. Ethereum, 43.42. ETH actually holding up fairly well. I think to the surprise of a lot of people, Ethereum is holding up very well. Now, I do still have these fib levels. I drew them out. The move from around 3,600 up to, let's draw it to the wick, draw it to the high, right? Wick to wick. This move from 3,600 to 5K. And I've talked about this 50% retracement level being a very, very solid, dependable support and resistance levels. In this case, it is a support level. You can take a look here. This was a wick. Now, we didn't quite get there yet. We were around $20 off. And then on today's candle, perfect bounce off of that 50% fib level. And we talked about putting in some long orders here at 42.81. If you did and you followed, you're in the green. Shout out to you. Volume is dropping on the pullbacks, which is nice, which is what you want to see. Volume is increasing on the rises up. Outside of this one volume node we had yesterday, Thursday. Take a look at market cipher B. Momentum waves are trending down. Money flow is still in the green, fairly, it's pretty thick, right? We're sitting at 32 in the green, VWAP trending down. This is not quite at the low that we had back on the 2nd of August, which was a minus 19. But obviously the clear-cut trend, my friends, is down. That's on the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly. Very curious on the weekly. Some TA for you. Ooh, red dot on the weekly on a fairly large momentum wave. VWAP just crossed over zero to the downside. Bearish. Money flow is still going up. Money flow doesn't look like it's topping out. You can see here. Still looks like it's just a vertical up and to the right. Now, when this candle closes in about 2 days, we'll see what happens. But I mean, this is you want to talk about going vertical. Look at this money flow. Just absolutely going vertical. And so that's what we want to see. That's on the daily time frame. I did want to take a peek at one more thing. I wanted to look at market cipher A on the daily. One indicator I do like to use on market cipher A for entry and exit is going to be the blue triangle. That signifies the previous trend is coming to an end and we should see a reversal. So in this case, if we get a blue triangle here, a purple triangle, means this downtrend that we're currently in right now should reverse and start pushing to the upside. Don't see anything on the daily. Let's check the half day. Nothing on the half day. 4 hour. Blood diamond on the 4 hour. Ooh. That was a few candles ago, though. Right here. Bam. And ETH dropped 8%. Let's look at market cipher B on the 4 hour. Then we'll move on from Ethereum. Seeing a little bit of a bounce on the momentum oscillators here on market cipher B. RSI looks like it's rounding out, and so is the stochastic smoothed over. We did get a higher low on the momentum wave to the downside, which tells you that the bears are still in control. But at least on the short term, we're seeing a little bit of a reversal on Ethereum. We look at the biggest gainers. Pith on the 24-hour is still up 15%. I'll drink some water. Pith on the 24-hour still up 15%. Pump.fun up 10.6%. Pump.fun, I think, is going to be a lot of volatility. So if you're in any trades, just be careful between the market makers, the amount of tokens that the founders have, and their emissions. Could see some violent swings to the upside and to the downside. Jim said, will we even get a rate cut? I think that's partly why the markets are going down. PC numbers came out today. Even though they were, they came in what they forecasted them at, it's still higher than from a year ago. And so the Fed is in this position, right? I'm pretty sure it's called stagflation. Prices continue to go high, but employment rates continue to rise. Labor market's taking a shit. Prices are going high. What do? Do you cut rates and risk inflation going higher by helping the jobs market, or do you keep rates steady, which is going to fuck the jobs market, but is going to help with the prices? So the Fed's in a bit of a pickle. I bet that they're still going to cut rates. I think it's going to be slow, 25 basis points, and then maybe another 3-month wait, 25 basis points, 3-month wait. But I think them cutting rates in September, even if it's 25 basis points, I think the signal alone that they're ready to move off their restrictive stance of monetary policy, I think that's going to send the markets higher for a next leg up. And then everything else is in the red, my friends. We have some stable coins. We have some essentially tokenized assets like, Pax Gold. It's tethered to gold, not really a crypto asset. The biggest losers, Chronos seeing a pullback, 11% down. We did talk about this move, although I thought it was going to come after the first leg. It came after the second leg. We go to the daily. I thought it was going to come after this candle. It didn't. It kept going up, and now you see Chronos is pulling back. Now we're going to do the same thing we did on ETH. We're going to draw our fib. Low to swing high. And look at that. Wouldn't you know it? Let's, in fact, is Crow available here? It is. We're going to open a long on Chronos right now. We're going to bet that 50% fib level holds. We're going to go lower. We're going to go 12x leverage. And, we're right there. Okay. We're going to go 12x leverage. And we're going to do 120. We're going to open that long. We still have Rob's Radium position, which is 72% in the red. Thanks, Rob. Our Bitcoin long that we opened on that limit order at 118.9. That one is down 4.5%. And then our trade we just put in right now, Chronos, this should be a pretty big one. But again, just, if you want to keep trading simple, just draw a fib from the move, low to high, and then target that 50% retracement level. Our gold pocket is right below there at around 23.47 to 24.2 cents. If the 50% level does not hold, I think the gold pocket will hold. That would be another area to accumulate Chronos if you're looking to accumulate or potentially enter into a long position. So we'll check back on that before we stop the show, before we end the show. So yeah, something interesting happened. This is posted by Kyle. I believe he's part of the Banter group. Take a look at this. So Binance was having issues with their futures. To all the conspiracy I don't want to say conspiracy theorists, but to all the people that have said numerous times that, hey, the exchanges, these market makers, they're manipulating the price, they're pushing it up, pushing it down. Well, take a look at this chart, okay? The tweet posted, we're aware of an issue affecting futures trading on Binance. All futures trading is temporarily unavailable. And what did the price do, right? This is when the tweet went out and the price rallied. Okay, hold on. This was the 29th at 6:35. Okay, so 25 minutes later, the issue affecting futures trading has been resolved. All futures trading is now operational. And then just a massive... Literally, literally right here. This was the candle. So, look, at the end of the day, if a platform knows your liquidation, you're like, I do think it's happening. I think some are worse than others, but I think it's definitely happening. I would say across 80% of the platforms. And I think a big reason the decentralized platforms like Hyperliquid, like Jupiter, like I know Drift Protocol on Solana is a big one that's decentralized. But the centralized ones where you don't hold your own keys, you don't control your own crypto, you're going to run into this issue. And so just funny. It was very funny. And that's all I have to say on it. I haven't dug in deep as far as exactly how they do it, what they do it. You know, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get with a team and let's try to get a market maker on the show. See if they can explain how that works and how bad they think that it is. Let's talk about this. Lots of talk about M2 money supply. The M2 money supply surged 4.8% year over year in July to a record $22.12 trillion. This also marks the 21st consecutive monthly increase. Now, you do see those charts. Bitcoin following money supply, right? It's lagging. Money supply goes up. Eventually, Bitcoin follows. We did have a little bit of a deviation, but I think ultimately, in a grand scope, if you zoom out to maybe the weekly or the monthly time frame, it follows it fairly closely. Growth has accelerated since July of last year, when M2 rose just 1.6%. Now it's up 4.8% year over year. By comparison, the long-term growth rate has averaged 6.3%, largely driven by the pandemic period. Meanwhile, inflation-adjusted M2 supply rose 2% year over year last month, the largest increase since February of 2022. U.S. dollars purchasing power continues to erode. Yeah. And so here's a chart. Sorry, I was taking a peek at the chat real quick. Here's a peek of the chart. Pandemic happened. M2 money supply just completely just went vertical, right? We talk about that, the money flow on ETH on the weekly, same thing, went vertical. You can see really since 2000, I know that's where the chart starts, but it just started accelerating in 2008 as the bank started printing more money and money supply went up. And so if this is any indication, if you believe in this chart, and if this is any indication that, that Bitcoin's going to follow or Bitcoin's going to have a rally, then here you are. So yeah. All right. Let's talk about ETH. It's from James Safer. Ethereum ETFs are on an absolute tear. They've taken in nearly $10 billion since the beginning of July. Here's what their flows look like since launch, nearly $14 billion. And you saw in the beginning, we saw some outflows from Grayscale, right? They converted. What is going on? Can we, just want to peep the chat here a little bit. Oh, Daryl, where you going, bro? Okay, anyways, we'll figure out Daryl. I don't know why Daryl's leaving. Daryl, why are you leaving, man? What's wrong? Anyways, okay. So ETH, yes. ETH, and you're starting to see the reserve play continues. And it's going to expand outside of just Bitcoin and ETH. It's already happening. But it looks like ETH is starting to get a massive amount of those inflows. Take a look here. It's not just the ETFs, it's the Bitcoin whales as well. This old Bitcoin whale prepares to buy another 1.1 billion ETH after building a $2.5 billion stash. An old whale with around $5 billion in Bitcoin holdings has been rotating into ETH the past week. The whale already built a sizable ETH reserve valued at $2.5 billion in the past week as the price of Bitcoin weakened while Ethereum retained its value. In fact, and look at that. Look at this bounce that we're seeing on Kronos. Actually, never mind. That was the line. The line was messing me up. The drawing I had. Let's take a look at Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Or excuse me, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Not dominance versus Bitcoin. ETH versus Bitcoin. This is on the daily. Ooh. Lots of flags, right? Let's clean out the chart. This is on the daily. Right? Flag break. break, flag, break, and here we go. Flag. Are we going to get another break? Ethereum, since the 8th of May, is up 132% against Bitcoin. I remember there's one person on the show who told you Bitcoin, no way Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. There was the other guy. I was saying it's going to happen, and it's happened, and I think that trend's going to continue. That's on the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly. I mean, the weekly is on a tear. You're getting a week. So you're getting 5 weeks of a pump, a retracement. 3 weeks of a pump, a retracement. 3 weeks of a pump, 2 weeks retrace, chop sideways, and then push to the upside. That's on the weekly. Now, the important level, I think this is still fairly undervalued, right? I mean, we take a look. The first level here is at 0.04, which looks like we are holding above right now. Right now. Now, this could change. The next big level, guys, that I'm looking at as far as this chart is concerned, it's going to be this box. The box that rocks. From 0.05 to 0.06. We can reclaim that. I think this is a full-fledged bull. What's the word? Bull phase, bull run, bull rally, bullish setup. Either way, that's where I'm targeting. This is, again, Ethereum versus BTC. And I think that rotation continues, and it's only going to get a lot better, in my opinion. I think fresh capital is going to come in, going to Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the massive amounts of inflows in the ETH are going to continue. This is just the beginning. We talk about all the different things that these institutions, these banks are looking to do with real world assets and stable coins. We've like barely started. We've barely just begun. And so I expect those to ramp up. Money flow into ETH. And I think ETH to 8K over the next 3 to 6 months, I think is very, very reasonable. In fact, I would say probably that's closer to like on the lower end, like a worst case, 8K in 3 to 6 months, unless something drastic happens in the economy. Then sure, all bets are off. But then at that point, ETH is going to be the least of your worries. All right, I'm going to take a peek at the chat. Got 182 people watching, 44 likes. Do us a favor, like the video. Also, I got a Q&A up. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, drop them in there. Stan said, the news are great, but crypto is falling again. Why? Well, if that isn't the question of the year, and that's nothing against the question, you, Stan. Everyone's asking that question. I think there's a lot of macro uncertainty, and historically, end of August, September has been fairly bearish for Bitcoin, especially for Bitcoin, but for stocks as well. A lot of companies, I know the government, end of September is the end of the fiscal year. October 1st, a new fiscal year starts, meaning new budgets, everything's reset. Could we see in October, we start seeing, and just think about that for a second, right? Fiscal year ends in September. October, everything resets. Per the government, now some companies have the same, others do it January to the end of December. But think of it this way. The government's been talking about, right, Bo Hines, Besant, Howard Lutnick, they've been talking about, we're still looking at budget neutral ways to buy Bitcoin. They've been dropping hints. They've been alluding to things. And everything resets in October 1st, budgets reset. Could that be the time frame we start seeing these inflows coming in to Bitcoin, Ethereum? By then, we're hoping we have a Solana ETF, we have an XRP ETF, we have a Cardano ETF, we have an Avalanche ETF, we have a bunch of different ETFs. And so I think partly that's why I just think seasonality, historically, end of August, September has been a bearish month. And I think the second thing is a lot of macro uncertainty. There's a lot of macro uncertainty. Is the Fed going to cut rates? Are they not? Inflation's starting to peak up, but jobs are down. I was like, well, what's the Fed going to do? They're going to pick prices, or are they going to pick jobs? Are they going to pick, $20 a stake? Or are they going to pick, hey, there's now 4.8% unemployment rate? These are all things. And I think once September rolls around, September 18th, the next FOMC meeting, and we get an idea, we get more clarity. And when I say we, especially the Wall Street, the people that really influence the markets, once they get a clear direction of, okay, this is where the Fed is heading, money's going to start moving around. And let's not forget, all the money that's sitting in the money market funds, we're talking like $8 to $9 trillion, my friends, that's just collecting 4.5% interest. That's going away, right? As they cut interest rates, it's not lucrative anymore, right? You're not even beating out inflation anymore. So that money has to move, and it's going to move into risk on assets. So that's my bet. Hope that answers the question. Obviously, there's a lot of other things. Liquidation hunting, yada, yada, market makers, exchanges. Yes, I think all that plays a part. But I think in general, market's cooling off. It's not just in crypto. It's across the board as well. Okay. If you have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll be going through those just randomly. I'll go through my gems. I'll give you my 3 gems in a second. It's got an alert about some more of this one gem I'm going to talk to you about. Jim said, would you get the Gemini XRP card? Yeah, I would. I don't have any credit cards. And so I don't have any credit cards, but if I were to get one, I mean, I would, yeah, why not? Why not try to cruise some XRP, even the Bitcoin one? Okay, let's talk about this. It's had a lot of people in arms. This is posted by Chainlink Chad. Pith gets a single government pity feed. It goes up 70%. In fact, it was up 100%. Link gets a full suite of government feeds, partners with SBI. CWD announces a Link treasury. Chainlink reserve buybacks, Bitwise ETF, Euroclear title sponsors, Swift CIO bull posting, and it moved barely 5%. Someone could tell me what the F is going on with this thing, that would be great. Well, I mean, my friend, Chainlink, was his name Chainlink Chad? Let me get rid of these. My friend, let's compare charts, okay? Here's a Chainlink chart. Let me get rid of some of these. Let me clean this up here a little bit. There we go. Here's a Chainlink chart. And I'll do a split screen for you. Sorry, let me. Okay. On your left is a Chainlink chart. Okay? Okay. It's been going up, measuring from September 4th of 23. It's gone up 275%. From February, even when just take when the price action started here, when they started tracking, right? It's still down 45%. Okay? From the beginning of January, it's still down 45%. Let's find Chainlink in the beginning of January. Where's Chainlink in the beginning of January? Here we go. Chainlink, beginning of January. Right here. It's up 70%. So there's obviously, one, market cap. Takes a lot less money to move Pith than it does Link. And number two, just a setup on the chart. Pith has been down. Chainlink has been grinding up. And so it's very simple. It doesn't mean one's better than the other. And I don't get this. What I don't understand is this like fighting of, well, mine is better than yours. Like, why can't it be both? Why can't Pith get some and Chainlink get some? And they both do really well. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Cardano and Solana are maybe publishing some data for the government? Or 9 blockchains are doing it. Why does it have to be a winner takes all? I don't get it. Is there a winner take all in banks? Is there a winner take all in restaurants? Is there a winner take all in anything? No. Competition is what you want. I don't want, I love Ethereum. I have a lot of Ethereum. I don't want ETH to be the only layer one. I want other layer ones because competition breeds excellence. Same thing with everything. So we just got to stop with this bullshit of, well, fucking mine is better and yours sucks. And no, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not a winner-take-all. And so, but to answer that question, Chainlink Chad, that's, in my opinion, partly the reason why. Okay. My gems, giving you 3, okay? This is not an exhaustive list. This does not mean that whatever I did not have in here, okay, that I don't like or that I don't have. This is just, I picked my top 3 right now. Price action, what I'm bullish on, looking forward. These are my 3. Let's start with the highest market cap one, Lido. Guys, just even if you're a novice, okay, just put on your 5th grader cap and just think common sense. Institutions want Ethereum. They're building on Ethereum. They're using it. There's treasuries being built. Great. Perfect. Institutions have an ETF. Those institutions want staking for the ETF. Why would they want staking? To earn yield. Dividends. Perfect. Okay, well, where are they going to stake it? Lido. They're going to stake it on Lido. So it's just simple. Sometimes we complicate things so much, and a shiny website, and the white paper says they're going to do this, and they're gonna be able to ship 100 million Lulu Boo Boos or whatever the fuck they're called, Boo Boo Lulus, in 5 seconds. Who gives a shit? Just sometimes simple is the answer, and simply infrastructure, Ethereum, staking. It's what the institutions want. It's what they're going to use. Where are they going to go? Here you go. They're going to go to Lido. In my opinion, the top one. It's a $1 billion market cap. Just again, break it down. Ethereum, $500 billion. It's #1 DApp when it comes to staking and infrastructure, I would say. Now, we can dig into some of the, some of the nitty-gritty. But $1 billion versus $500 billion. There's a massive discrepancy, and unless you think Lido is going to die, Lido is an absolutely excellent play here, okay? Look at the last 1 month, up 17%. Got to a local high of, what was that, $1.55? 1 year, it got up to $2.38. To me, this is a no-brainer. Lido is one of my top 3 gems that I am extremely bullish on. Number 2, and I've been talking about this for 6 months, is Convex Finance. Very ugly chart. It got as high as $50. Okay, that's on the all-time. Look at the last 1 year. Up 63% on the 1 year. Over the last 1 month, down 20%. In my opinion, a great dip buying opportunity. Again, this is another infrastructure play on Ethereum and stablecoins. The most important one is stablecoins. Okay? There's the next one. Again, it's ranked number 146. It's got a market cap of 350 million. Can this 10x? Yes. Can it 100x? I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. That would mean it would be a $35 billion market cap. I'm thinking $5 to $15 billion. $5 to $15 billion, which is what's my math is not good today. Anyways, that's quite a few X's. Okay, so that's my second one. My third one. Oh, I think this is my kid. Hi, Robin. I think my kid's calling me. Okay. The next one, Patreon members got this call fairly early. Okay. Wire 717 AI. Okay. The ticker is Wire, my friends. Now, this is one I bought a while ago. I staked it on virtuals and I forgot about it. I unstake it. I forget about it. And I go to my virtuals wallet and it's like 16 grand. I'm like, what? It's like, it was a lot lower. So I look, it's fucking Wire. And so I start digging. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I took some profit, right? Took my initial plus I think like a 4x. Took my initial times 4, left the rest, started digging. And then I'm like, this shit is the absolute real deal. And I think this post here by Capo the Goat 01, I think encompasses it beautifully. I haven't done a write-up on it. I've let our Patreon members know this is something that I, over the last 2-3 days, have been stacking and stacking and stacking. There are still hugely undervalued fundamental gems. 717 Capital have settled multi-millions of USDT. If you missed the biggest runners on base, do not miss this. They are partners of Circle, okay, 717 Capital. They've settled 9 figures in 2024, okay? 180 million plus in crypto to USDT settlements. Real revenue. So the revenue they make from settling OTC, they use it to buy back the wire token and burn it. The founder from Coinbase and managed Coinbase banking and scaled it to 11 figures, okay? Fee to settle is less than 0.5% and instant. So OTC is not going away. In fact, OTC is probably is ramping up with the institutions, right? If they're going to buy $1 billion, they're not going and blasting the buy button on Kraken at $1 billion, right? So Wire is one. I've bought the dip. I've grown my position significantly. I think this thing is sitting at 6.8 million. I think this thing can get to 100 million. Does it get to 200 million, 250? I don't know. But I think this thing has a lot of value left. Again, I've been buying. I actually had 2 separate buys this morning. And so if you're part of our Patreon, probably got in the 6s. So you should be ahead now if you bought. But this is one I am uber bullish on. This one is officially my largest agent holding in the virtuals ecosystem. So, hi, Rob.
What's going on, bro?
How are you, man?
You miss me?
I miss you so much.
Miss me too.
You miss you too. You would fucking say that.
Yeah.
You miss you too.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of yourself on your nightstand?
No, but I have my own initials tattooed on my back.
That I can say it's absolutely true.
Rob, I put somebody else's name on there, you know? Put who's important.
Just don't put anyone's name. How about that? That's a good idea. Rob,
it's like a jersey, you know?
So Rob, update. I'm not trying to throw shade here. Radium position is down 74%. Yeah, I mean, the market went down.
Yeah.
I think this one, it just liquidates. But we did enter a Crow position. That's up 6%. Crow long. It was bouncing on that 50% retracement level, fib level. But I want your thoughts on the markets. 108.5 for Bitcoin. ETH is actually up on the 1 hour barely. Do you think we break below 100K? What's your thoughts on the current market?
If we break below 100K, it'd have to be after a little bit of consolidation near the $100,000 mark. And so do we see perhaps a candle wick that gets down there? I could say, yeah. Maybe like, on one exchange for an hour or two. But we are still pretty far away from $100,000. So, at 108, you look at where we're at a week ago. A week ago, we were at 116. And so to drop under $100,000 is a tremendous move in the short term. I mean, you look back on the 1 month here, you can see that we were, putting in all-time highs back on the 13th. So just 2 weeks ago, we were at, price discovery. And 100,000 is just pretty damn far away. I think that you do get pullbacks in the bull market. They're expected. However, I just don't feel like now's the moment where we're going to get this tremendous pullback that takes you from 120,000, particularly 124,000, and drops you under 100,000. I mean, you're talking about, a 40% move at that point, 30%, 40% move. And I just don't see it unless we consolidate even lower. And so if we spend, I would say, the next 3 weeks at 102, 103, 104, then at that point, I will change my tune. But it's just, we haven't been down here in a while. I mean, on the 1 month, we haven't been here. And you have to go all the way back to when we crossed it. Like when we crossed above 100K, we didn't come back and test it. And that's been since May. So it's been 3 months over $100,000. We're in an uptrend. We're in a bull market. I just don't see it. Now, altcoins are interesting, right? You want to consolidate, but you don't want to go up put in a new all-time high, pull back 30%, and then expect the alts to run. Now they are running a little bit, but for what we're looking for in altcoin season, to make a lot of money, you want Bitcoin to essentially consolidate around previous all-time highs. We wanted to sit around between 115 and 130. That's where the magic's going to happen. You consolidate there, Ethereum's going to blow up. Solana's going to just take off. XRP will do well. It's just not at this kind of price level. But now, if you do consolidate around 110, I still think that alts run. So that's not all bad news. I do think that we're going to get a rebound out of Bitcoin. Institutions and also the U.S. government is just going full send on Bitcoin. So I think this is just the market pulling back a little bit. You had a down day on the index funds. S&P 500 down today. NASDAQ is down today. But let's just think about it this way. Bitcoin has followed the index funds. Bitcoin has followed NASDAQ. And we just put in a new all-time high on the S&P 500 yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And that is a great signal for, hey, we're still in a bull market. It's just not Bitcoin's day today. That's essentially where we're at. I think that in 2 weeks, we'll be back on track above 110, above 115. I don't think it.
Yeah. You weren't in here, but I talked about end of August, September being fairly bearish. I also talked about the government's fiscal year ends at the end of September. So October 1st, budgets are reset. Everything is reset, right? And so they've been dropping hints on we're looking, we're still doing.
You know that investments, especially high risk investments, take a back seat during the summer months.
Correct.
Also, you got to think that the U.S. is very progressive, very, very progressive. And overall, the U.S. economy is doing great. Wall Street's doing great. S&P 500 just printed a new all-time high yesterday. And so if the macro environment on the economy was different, if the stigma behind crypto was negative and there was uncertainty, then at that point, I would agree with you. I'm like, hey, man, there's a little steam left out of the market. I'm a little concerned. But it's actually, there's a lot of steam going into a bull market. And so for me, there's very little. What can you point to that's negative in crypto right now?
Sentiment.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Outside of the current sentiment that price is just dropping down.
Macro, what the Fed's going to do.
But the Fed's going to cut.
But we don't know that yet.
Jerome Powell literally just said it in Jackson Hole.
But the numbers.
CME backs it up.
PCE numbers came out today.
Doesn't change the fact that they're still going to cut.
But
the PCE is negative for cuts. We're already getting a cut.
No, PCE is what?
And PCE is data that the Fed uses to determine whether they're going to make a cut or not.
Correct. And
we're already going to make a cut. The CME is locked in on.
No, but the PCE came in today, literally today.
I know.
I think that's part of the why we're seeing volatility.
So you're saying that the PCE is so bad that it's going to change us not getting a cut?
Came in. No. I agree. I think the Fed's going to cut rates. Jerome Powell's pretty much said.
So then the PCE numbers are irrelevant.
No, they're still relevant, but they're relevant to the traders and the investors. Because at the end of the day, we can assume he's going to cut rates. We think he's going to cut rates a week ago at Jackson Hole, and then the new PC numbers come out and was like, oh, well, wait, the new numbers are out. He spoke before the numbers came out. And does this mean he's not going to cut?
But here's the thing. We've had positive PCE, and they haven't done anything.
Correct.
They've kept the rates the
same. But there hasn't been a concrete decision made, a concrete step taken either way. It's been nothing. So I think until
we're getting rate cuts.
I know that, bro. I understand
then
that.
It's a moot point.
But to the markets, it's not a moot point. To me and you, it is.
But the markets look at PCE as, hey, this is going to influence the Fed.
Correct.
On making
That's all they care about.
But the influence it has an influence. We're at 87% likelihood that we're going to get a rate cut.
That's dropped.
Yeah,
actually, it's gone up. I think it was at 85.
The rate cut is coming.
I agree.
So PCE is irrelevant in terms of crypto.
Rob, let me ask you a question. Do you think Wall Street specifically, and to some degree crypto, do you think they overreact to small pieces of news and data?
Yeah, it's probably
Yes.
why. It's why the markets are down today.
Absolutely. Okay, so we agree.
Yeah, and also that's why, because the markets are down, that's why crypto's down. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that it has no bearing on at all the charts whatsoever. You mentioned traders, 100%. I'm in agreement there. But what I'm saying is that, like, in terms of a bull market, in terms of where we're going, in terms of like when I ask you, I'm like, hey, what negatives can you say about crypto's position right now? I don't have any. And if you're talking about something that pulls the market down for 24 hours, that's not a negative. That's just the ebbs and flows of the market. And so a way I look at it is I cannot pinpoint any negative situation that crypto is in that reverses its trend from bull market to bear market.
I agree.
And so for that reason, it's going to rebound, and I think it rebounds here shortly. The summer months are over. The S&P 500 is printing new all-time highs. I don't see any negatives right now, man. I don't. So for those of you that are watching that are kind of like, oh, man, Bitcoin's down to 108. Like, like, guys, we are in the midst of a bull market. We are around the corner from another all-time high. I'm telling you. Let me ask you, will there be an all-time high by the end of the year?
Yes.
There you go. So
you don't got to convince me, bro.
Yeah,
good.
Whether or not it's in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, or 2 months, I don't think it's that far out. But we're getting new all-time highs again, and it's around the corner. We're in the middle of a bull market, and so now's the time to start identify the projects. David's over here giving you straight home runs. I like to give you my favorite picks. Don't nail them all,
what
but
are your favorite picks? You got 3 that you're really honed in on. By the way, did you buy any dips over the last couple of days?
I have not, man. I've been pretty consumed here, studio, other business things we got going on. So I haven't really done much. I've been keeping an eye though on Solana. And so the way this is how I try to this is how I make money. Is that I look at a trend and I'm like, okay, this area is hot. Like here's an example. Today I was like, hey, you asked me to look at some projects. Immediately I'm like, all right, I need exchange tokens. So first, there's 3 exchange tokens that come to mind.
That's where your mind went first. Is it
100%? 100%. It's trending right now.
Okay.
It's what is crushing it. So you got BNB. This is still at $800. It's near all-time highs. How high can it go? I don't know. I'm not really interested in BNB. I think at number 5 market cap, I feel like there's better value, and other projects kind of in the similar market cap like Solana, XRP. I'd even prefer Dogecoin over BNB right now.
I want you to give me a gem, too. Give me a gem.
But, I go down and I'm like, hey, Kronos, I think you just got a taste of what Kronos is really doing. I mean, look at this chart, dude. It's on the 1 year, 20 cents. Something I've been just at nonstop trying to get you guys to like pay attention to Kronos. Pay attention to Kronos. Also, OKB, where is she at? Down here. We saw this one move. So anyways, the trend is telling you that these things are exploding. So what's the next one? What's the next biggest market cap exchange token? Do you know, David?
I think it's KuCoin, right? Or Leo?
No, there it is. There's Gate token.
Gate.io.
Yeah. So I know it's not what you guys want to hear, but if I had to pick a pick, I would go Gate token. Maybe not this one particularly, but you got KuCoin token. I like KuCoin token better than Gate token, just because I'm a little bit more familiar with their exchange. But I would say, this right here at $11, we saw it as low as $10. It's on the 1 month, but this one really hasn't had a breakout. But you see that in the grand scheme of things, it did go from $12 to $13.81. That's just over the last 4 days. I think that's because the trend is exchange tokens. That's how my mind thinks. I know I don't have any sound reasoning outside of that's what the market's looking at right now. I've just made a lot of money doing this. Made a lot of money. Like, hey, AI's hot. What's a big AI play that isn't catching a lot of attention? That is a big name. That's how I operate. Also, Solana. We saw Solana starting to rip up, right? Solana ecosystem is gonna be a killer when Solana breaks all-time highs. When Solana's up in the $500 range, even $1,000 range, I think it's gonna get 1,000. David doesn't think it's gonna get quite that high. He says like $800. Whatever, doesn't matter. Once you're over $500 on Solana, ecosystem plays are gonna make millionaires. You're gonna make millions of dollars in the Solana ecosystem. So now, for me, it's like, hey, I have 2 exchange tokens I'm looking at. I probably would pick KuCoin over the 2. And then Solana ecosystem plays. There's a few there. I think meme coin, because Solana's bread and butter is meme coins. So as ugly as it is.
Not anymore. Well, I mean, still not as much for sure.
Yeah, but it will be again, right? When Solana starts heating up and people are making a lot of money in crypto, you know they're going to go back to meme coins. Meme coins aren't dead yet. Now, they might be cooling off, but when they pop off again, it's going to be probably heavily invested in the Solana ecosystem. I do like Fartcoin. I know I've said it before. It's kind of, comedic here and there, but honestly, I think that is going to be a big winner. I don't see that much downside risk in comparison to other meme coins. I think that something that's outside it's almost outside the top 100. And so I think that once Solana gets to that $300, $400, $500 range, the Fartcoin is going to probably 4 or 5x, dude. I really believe that. And at a 5x, I mean, you're talking about, $3.5 billion market cap. And currently you go down to the $3.5 billion market cap. Pepe's there right now. And so Pepe is really not even that popular anymore. And so also Radium, I know it's down today on the trades particularly. And also Jupiter, I think is a great play. Any other Solana projects that you're really bullish on? If I told you, hey, you wake up tomorrow and Solana's at $800. I know that's far-fetched, but I'm just saying, just hypothetical. What project would you want to be in the Solana ecosystem?
Probably Jito or Jupiter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I operate, and I've made a killing doing that. Going with the trend and then picking the lead horse in that area.
Take a look at this. CFTC offers guidance for non-U.S. crypto exchange access. And I think this is going to be part of the reason why I said Jupiter. So we know the issue with airdrops, exchanges we want to trade on, but we can't because they're not in the U.S. and we got to do this and do that. So CFTC is looking to put an end to that. The main objective is to revitalize access to global liquidity previously hindered by strict regulatory actions. By clarifying registration requirements, the CFTC aims to restore trading corridors previously cut off. U.S. traders will now have a broader range of global crypto assets to trade legally, revitalizing their involvement in overseas markets. And again, the race to the U.S. is here. And then this is from CZ, from Binance. He predicts that decentralized exchanges will overtake centralized exchanges. there we go. He said if he were starting out today, he would focus on building 2 things. 1, not that bullshit. 1, a privacy-preserving perpetual DEX and a simple AI-powered trading agent. He argued that self-custodial systems will eventually process more trading volume than centralized exchanges. So when you look at projects like Jupiter, I'll give you a gem out of Solana, Drift Protocol. It's a DEX. You can lend. You can borrow.
I want to play something for you.
Okay.
This is just watch. And
this is a great podcast, by the way.
Yes,
When Shift
really
happens.
Good. Yeah. And then on this one, he's talking about Chainlink and the partnership with MasterCard, but just it ties into your DEX kind of ideology.
Chainlink announced a partnership with MasterCard. What does that sort of partnership concretely mean for Chainlink, for crypto, and for the world?
What it shows is actually that the MasterCard payment network that has over 3.5 billion cardholders can now on production live allow those cardholders to buy a token directly from their MasterCard purchase. So they actually don't need an intermediary anymore to buy that token. Before, you would have had somebody, you have to make an account somewhere and you have to like have a relationship with something and you deal with them for the MasterCard payment. Now, the MasterCard directly buys the token through a system of transactions and verifications, and those transactions and verifications are now basically your intermediary. But that is a mathematically guaranteed intermediary. Does that make sense? You're mathematically guaranteeing that once your MasterCard transaction reaches a certain point, it will result in a blockchain-based event. Initially, you exchange the MasterCard transaction for a stablecoin. The stablecoin is then programmatically sent to a DEX in which it exchanges the stablecoin for the token, and then the token is sent to your wallet. But that's a mathematically guaranteed flow directly
Think
from your
about
MasterCard
that
relationship.
in
Well,
regards
MasterCard's
to
gonna be
DEX, to your DEX, right? So you're basically, we always talk about like, hey, Coinbase partnering with a bank. Like, how about you scratch that and you just go straight user credit card to DEX mathematically programmed.
Just go straight to the source.
Dude, and so when CZ says, hey, I would build a DEX, this is the first thing I think about. That's the first thing I think about is like, hey, you don't even need an exchange for the largest payment network out there, Visa and MasterCard. You just straight buy and it just comes right back to you like a boomerang. But nobody else did anything. It just went through payment networks like Chainlink. And there'll be other ones too added to that. It's not going to only be Chainlink.
He's going to be Chainlink.
But I think at the end of the blockchain, at the end of the transaction, or halfway there, will be a DEX. And so I think that buying Bitcoin will essentially be through a DEX and wrap versions. I think that buying Ethereum, Solana, everything eventually will remove the transaction fee that you get from an exchange. The fees will shrink. And
fees are crazy on these exchanges.
And the fees are cheaper on a DEX, especially when you get higher throughput. And the fees will be minute. If you're a bank or a card issuer like MasterCard, you're looking at it like, hey, I can provide a service for all of my customers, but I got to pay 1% or 1.5% or 2% or 3% to an exchange. Instead, I could just do this through a DEX and pay half a cent per transaction. Just do the math on that and figure out what the percentage is, right?
Yeah. All right, I do want to give a big thank you. Today's show is brought to you by CAM's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how CAM's can help your business scale and grow, visit bluewiretech.com or click the link in the description of this video. That'll do it for the show today. No show Monday?
No holiday show.
No holiday show Monday, Labor Day. Enjoy. Wait, is that the day they grill burgers and shit? Oh, or is that Memorial Day?
Labor Day, you could grill burgers too.
Hell yeah.
Burgers and hot dogs.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
But Memorial Day is the one that's a little bit more hamburger heavy.
Hamburger heavy. Okay.
But we can also cook burgers on Labor Day.
Yeah. Hot dogs too. Great dogs. All right.
If you had to delete one from the earth, hot dogs or sausages?
Sausages.
What?
Actually, hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, we're done. Gina, outro.
Hold on. Hot dogs are sausages.
Sin City Crypto.
Roll the outro.
Cassius Cuvée. Yeah. Sin City Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon, then to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.